Hello YouTube land. I want to talk today is a happy day for me. Got something special today from FedEx. So I have here my grandfather's all original 1965 Bulova Accutron. It was gifted to me by my sister because I had told her I was interested in watches, and so she gifted me this. Well, it came to me in non-working condition, and so I paid the price to have Old Father Time in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina redo the watch. So for those of you who are wondering, like, is it worth it to have an organization like Old Father Time redo my classic watch, now you'll be able to answer that question with some definitive answers. So, if you're not familiar with the 1965 or the Bulova Accutron watch, it's the predecessor to today's modern quartz watches. It is repairable, but unlike, say, a 009 Seiko or a Vostok Europe or vintage Seiko. This watch is run by a tuning fork. So, if you know anything about quartz watches, you know that a quartz watch is, in fact, actually a tuning fork. But it's a tuning fork that is a quartz tuning fork. So, yeah. Anyhow, here is the repair invoice. I'm going to read this to you. Old Father Time paid. I want to mark that you are going to be waiting a while to get your watch back. I sent this watch to them February the 13th, and today is March the 9th. So what did they do? So they thoroughly cleaned, regulated the vintage electronic movement, replaced the damaged index mechanism. They restored the lume on my chapter ring, polished the tarnish from the case, removed rust damage from the original handset, replaced the acrylic Spaceview crystal. I don't know why they would do that. It was an all original watch, so I don't know why the crystal needed to be replaced unless it was scratched. Yeah. And then you can see how much this service cost. So, depending on where you look, of course, you can go on eBay and you can find these watches. Oh, look, they sent me back the parts that I guess they replaced. I don't know. There's some parts here. I guess that's the piece of acrylic that was with the watch, and some gaskets. Interesting. Anyway, I guess they sent back the parts instead of throwing them out. That's fine. Comes in this nice, neat sealed container. And moment of truth. And of course, I don't have my gloves on. The reason I don't have my gloves on, this is my grandfather's watch. I will not be selling this. And there is the beauty. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. This watch looks brand new. Now, if you're not familiar, okay, with this watch, the retail price can go anywhere from $4,300 to, $400. A lot of it seems to be related to um, whether or not it's a Franken watch or not. So what you'll find a lot of times is that there is, in fact, a lot of Franken watches for sale on eBay. Watches made from new old stock, never been serviced. This is not one of those watches. This watch is all original, 10 karat watch. It does have, of course, a Barton 18 millimeter watch band on it. But I want you to look at how gorgeous that is. Just look at that. So this is the tuning fork mechanism, right? If you hold this watch up to your ear, you can actually hear the tuning fork make a sound. If you'll notice, the second hand on these watch sweeps. The tuning fork, I want to say, vibrates at 360,000 vibrations per hour. Of course, Seiko would realize that you could do the same thing with a quartz crystal and get significantly higher accuracy out of a quartz watch, but this watch was the predecessor. And I am quite proud of this watch, and I am quite proud of how absolutely phenomenally beautiful this turned out. Now, $1,500. You're looking at this watch and you're like, oh my God, John, you paid $1,500. Listen, this was professionally serviced. This is not a new old stock watch that was clamored together from new old stock parts, that was, that they just left dust and particulates and all kinds of stuff inside the watch. They cleaned the watch, they cleaned the tuning forks, they cleaned the electronics, they cleaned them in a sterile environment, put the watch back together in a sterile environment. The movement in this is incredibly complex to the point of being like a quartz watch, except with metal. And so you really, you can buy a Franken watch, and yes, you can pick it up for about $420. But the truth of the matter is that it is going to be put together by probably somebody with about as much experience as I have in doing this. And as you can see, I didn't trust myself with my grandfather's watch. So if I wouldn't trust myself with this watch, buying a bunch of new old stock parts and clamoring them together and not having the proper equipment, 200 power microscopes, timing equipment, to do this watch properly, then you probably shouldn't be buying that watch, Franken watch. Now, okay, so you don't want to pay the all original price tag. I get that. That's fine. You want the look without all the crap that goes with it. Guess what? If you want one of those Franken watches, go for it. I won't stand in your way. I won't make fun of you. I won't say that you're, wearing a fake or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I get it. You want to wear it. You love the aesthetic. It's vintage. It's almost kind of steampunk. I get it. That's why I love this watch. That's why I'm going to be wearing this watch. I understand. But be aware of what you're buying. You're probably going to end up with an eBay Frankenwatch, especially if you get it for, that price in the $350 to $400 range. Obviously got a Barton band, no big deal. You can swap out. It's an 18 millimeter, pretty common, pretty easy to replace band. Very, very pleased with how this watch turned out. Interestingly enough, it looks like before they sent it out, they set it for me, and it is currently keeping accurate time. That is the accurate time that I have currently. We're at 7:48 here in North Carolina. So obviously very pleased with this watch. It is as good, if not better, than I expected it to be. Well worth the money. A little bit of niggles on this. So they insist that you use FedEx. And first of all, FedEx is expensive. FedEx is insured, and they required that they're going to send it out. I get it. Expensive watch. You want to protect your investment. And I'm all for all this, except for the fact that FedEx is absolutely horrible. They sent this watch to me on the other side of the state, still in North Carolina. They sent this watch to me shipping on March the 2nd. Today is March the 9th. It should have been taken 2 days. Now they're going to say, well, the weather was fine. It's been sunny and 50 to 60 degrees every day. There is no storms. For some inexplicable reason, they sent the watch all the way to Memphis, Tennessee, and then from Memphis, Tennessee, sent it back to me. I had to pick it up at the local drugstore in Canton, North Carolina, because they required my direct signature. Now, that I understand. What I do not understand is why you limit me to such a crappy shipping company. They've been using the recent mess in Texas as some kind of an excuse for delay in shipment, which was basically interstate. Kitty Hawk, North Carolina to Candler, North Carolina. Should have been pretty simple. I've used DHL. Obviously, let me show you. I just got a DHL shipment here from 1 second closer. And that had to come from overseas, and it took 2 days. Come on now. I got another DHL shipment from Lisbon, Portugal. Took 3 days to get from Lisbon, Portugal to Candler, North Carolina. So I don't understand why it took, from March the 2nd all the way to March the 9th to get my shipment here. So really, honestly, my only complaint was the shipping time. Obviously, if you want fine craftsmanship, you're going to pay for it. You're also going to have to wait on it. So I did wait several weeks, 6 weeks, I believe, for my watch to come back. But honestly, if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on your Accutron, getting it serviced by a professional, I would wholeheartedly endorse Old Father Tarn. All right. Have a great night.